Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hotline Classic Remastered. This time we'll take a look at the 1999 BMW 328i. A car that's a bit of an outlier among all the BMWs in this game. All the other E46s are of course coupes. This one is the saloon. And I think this is the best looking one. I'll be honest, I'm not much of a BMW fan these days. However, this car in 1999 I thought was like the coolest thing ever. And even now, if I ever see a pre-facelift 3 Series saloon like this, which doesn't happen often because a lot of them have rotted to nothing. I actually do remember the last one I saw, and it was on hubcaps, like steel wheels, and it's just the coolest car. In truth, BMW has really just been producing worse versions of this car since they bought this out in 1999, trying to get to this level again. But I don't think BMW will ever get to the level they got with this car, because you think like all this car's rivals at the time. You know, the C-Class just transitions that weird sort of looking C-Class with the combined headlights, which wasn't a very good car. The A4, I love the A4, but in terms of actual like quality, Audi wasn't quite there, and then they made the A4 really ugly a couple of years into it. But this car just, you know, the post-facelift looks okay, but the pre-facelift, I think this is where it's at. This is a truly fantastic looking car. And again, I'm no BMW fan, but I have a very big soft spot for this E46 saloon. I don't even like the E46 M3, but I like this. Now, in terms of statistics, something interesting to mention. Thanks to the GT2 Plus mod, this has the option of turbo kits. In the base game, it doesn't. But the 328 Ci does have a turbo kit. I've elected not to use the turbo kit on this, A, because the 328 Ci, when that goes around, will have the turbo kit, and also because the 528i, which shares this engine, that car's also going to have the turbo, because that car doesn't have the turbo in the base game. This is going to run naturally aspirated, because, you know, this is, if Gran Turismo makes sense, which it often doesn't, but we'll pretend it does, this isn't going to be as quick as the 328 Ci, even if you lump the turbo onto it. And of course it doesn't have racing mod either. Anyways, front engine rear wheel drive, 376 horsepower, 1,299 kilos. Let's see how this car gets along. It is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track. Even the engine note in this sounds quite good. It is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Mitsubishi GTO LM Edition, set time of 27.223. This car unlikely to beat that. In terms of BMWs, they have not had a particularly positive relationship with this track. We've had the 840Ci, the 740i, and the 323Ci. All of them were awful, and all of them this has just been beaten by in its first lap. So there you go. Currently, the quickest one we've had is the E36 323i, which I think was like a 30.6, somewhere around there. Also worth mentioning the 320Ci that we had. That was the lightest of all these E46s. I think that got like a 30.919 off the top of my head. So, yeah, this car already looking more like its 3 Series brethren and less like the, well, if you ignore the 323Ci's existence. Which, to be fair, is pretty easy to do because it is by far and away the least interesting of all those E46s in the game. I really wish there was more of these in the... Like, again, I get it, you know, it's literally just a 3-door version of this car, but I'm sorry, the CIs are nowhere near as cool as the saloons. I don't think... They had sort of slightly different... The CI had a slightly different look to it. It's a bit weird, because, well, in fact, it's very weird. BMW with the E46 was just very strange, because you had the CI... which sort of looked a little bit sort of sleeker than the standard 3 Series. But the M3 wasn't actually, like, based on that. It was based on, like, regular 3 Series bodywork. But also, the M3 never got the facelift. These cars got facelifted in, like, 2003, I think it was. Different set of front headlights, which I think is sort of, if you see an E46 these days, it is far more likely to be a post-facelift. I assume they improved a bunch of stuff with the post facelift, but It needs to stop waggling its rear end out of that one corner, and it'll be quick. But yeah, for some reason the M3 never got the facelifted front lights. I don't know what that was about. It's just a weird car, the E46 M3 went. The more you think about the E46 M3, the less it sort of like makes sense. But yeah, I will say, as much as I am or was a bit of a fan of the most wanted car back in the day, I'm not an E46 M3 person. I think there's definitely E36 M3 for me is like the best generation, but still. 30.939. It is, yeah, firmly around the 320 Ci. I think this could go a little bit quicker. It feels like it can. It does. It's a little bit weird. It's sort of a in between of like the E46s, because the 323 Ci we drove just didn't feel like it was set up for this course at all. The 320 Ci felt really dialed in, and that E36 was really quick as well. But this just sort of feels a little bit heavy, a little bit ungainly. You know, the rear end slides about a bit, but also it feels like there is speed in it. I think with the turbo on it, maybe this could have been quicker, but then again, it probably would have also been more wayward, so I'm not really too sure, but not a bad time from the 328i. A 30.939 places this into 169th place. It is slightly slower than an Opel Astra, admittedly, slightly slower than the 320 Ci, but it's still not bad. I mean, it beats an NSX, Silvia K's, Ford Focus, Shelby Cobra, beats the Mustang SVT Cobra. It's, I mean, that is pretty much the middle of our leaderboard. We've now had 328 cars go around. Yes, it now makes sense why this one went round where it did. So 174th place is sort of the middle of the leaderboard. So it's basically mid-pack. So, yeah. That does also mean the C43 AMG is significantly quicker than this. But that also had a giant V8 in it. So, and also that C-Class, I love that generation of C-Class. It's a lot better than that weird jelly mold thing we were speaking about. But anyways, yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, farewell.
My hopes and dreams are going. I'll only you back. Up in the wall that you are not part of. Eyes on the slit of your father with love.